This is the Mobile Marketing Minute with your hosts, Rob Woodbridge and Greg Hickman.
Welcome back to another episode of the Mobile Marketing Minute. I'm Rob.
And I'm Greg.
All right, so listen, mobile search. This is one of these big areas that we have to talk about because people, I don't think, understand the difference between web-based search and what happens on a mobile device. They are not the same, and there are certain things that will kill a company or help a company, right?
Yeah, totally. I think the main thing from like a high level is intent, right? So from a desktop perspective, you typically see more discovery. That's how you kind of stumble across a new business or a brand or what have you. Whereas someone who's searching from mobile, more so than not, already knows what they're looking for. Like if you're searching for Chinese food, the odds of you actually getting Chinese food are probably pretty high, right? You know, like, and the person who makes that the best experience for you and the easiest is going to be the person that wins your business, right? The Chinese food restaurant that shows up first that has a click to call number, or you can just order right from the phone, or has a mobile optimized website. Like you're likely to order from those places first, or else you're just going to go down the list until you find it. So, you know, back to that intent. I mean, from a mobile search perspective, one, there's a lot of local intent, but there's a lot of intent to perform a specific action. And I think it was Google, I'm pretty sure it was Google, a few stats. They said that 95% of smartphone users have searched for local information. 61% of users call a business after searching for it. 59% visit the location, and 90% of these people act within 24 hours. So there's some local intent there. So I don't want to rule out all of like non-local based businesses, but mobile, when it does come to search, there is a lot of that local intent. So what they defined as action is calling the business, you know, looking it up on a map, purchasing and or visiting. So like those are all actions that pretty much any business would like to have their customers doing, because it gets them one step closer outside of the purchase to making a purchase, right? So I think you have to understand how people might be coming across your business when it comes to mobile search, which, you know, some standard analytics will show you, you know, which pages are they visiting most, what devices do they have, what are the keywords that are bringing them there, you know, how long are they spending on the site, and like what content do they are they spending most time with? That might give you an idea of, you know, what you need to make available very quickly to mobile searchers. Like for example, I did an audit for the city of a county in Texas, like their parks and recreation, and their number one most visited page from a mobile device on their website was this parks finder. Like you can find all the local pools, the parks and stuff like that. It gives you directions. And there was no way to easily access that tool off of the homepage. Like you'd have to like really dig deep to find it. And it wasn't even called the finder. Like the name of it on the page that you actually use the tool was different than what it was called in the navigation. But you know, you're making one step, 2-3 steps removed from actually getting the user to what they want. So just like thinking through things like that, what are they trying to access from their phone? How can you make that easily accessible from off the homepage possibly? But really, what are they trying to do and search for from their mobile phone? And that'll give you kind of the insight as to what actions you might need to take.
You know, what I heard once, what Greg was, and I think this is, it resonates very much with me, and it should with every business out there, is that, you know, the results, the search results that appear when you type something into a browser on a desktop versus the browser on a smartphone are different, because Google, as the predominant search engine, ranks your website differently if you're not mobile optimized. So that's a huge thing that people, I don't think a lot of people know, that you might be ranked in the top 10 on the desktop, but you may not even appear in top 10 on mobile if you don't have a suitable website for mobile.
Yeah, and that actually comes down to a handful of things. And I think this was something they put into place, I think like August or September of last year, where they started demoting sites that weren't mobile friendly. Because, I mean, let's face it, Google knows there's tons of search. They need to give their users the best experience. So if you're going to be the reason, if your business is going to be the reason that they give their customer a bad experience, they're going to lower you, and they're going to bring up someone that is going to offer the user the best result, which is why sometimes you see those different results. But that also comes down to a handful of things. Like there's a big kind of cry about Google said that you have to have responsive versus having a separate mobile site, which is actually not true. They just didn't want to confuse people more, but they actually did. If you read through their announcement, there's a handful of things that kind of identify like mobile friendly experience. They don't really care how you do it. They just care that you do it.
Right.
So whether you're redirecting to a mobile optimized site, like they know, like I forget what they're called, but they have a technical term for what they use to identify, oh, this is redirecting to a mobile optimized site. We should recognize this. Like
right.
They're already paying attention to that. So they're not penalizing you for stuff like that. But like if you do like 10 redirects or, you have like 15 server calls, that's a performance issue, which they are measuring for that. So if your site performs slowly as well, you're going to get a lower ranking, which again is going to lower you in those results. Also keep in mind, the screen's not as big. So when you have the advertising plugged in, above the fold, you see 1 or 2 advertising slots that are paid for. And then you see Google's results. If there's a Google local result, so like a retailer or anything that has a physical location, those are going to come up first because, again, you'll see they place their assets up there first, and then below that, they'll have the click to call, the click a website. They're trying to give you all of the outs just in case that business doesn't have a mobile website. Like,
right.
Here's the phone number. If you want to click here, here's directions. You don't even need to go to their website to get directions anymore. So, they're going to elevate people that are trying to take care of their own customers because, in turn, they're taking care of Google's customers.
Well said. It's a big challenge.
Very big.
Don't forget to come back next week for our next episode.